As the cost of living crisis continues to spiral out of control in the UK, it seems that more and more people are becoming desperate for money. Hi there and welcome back to the channel at Just Gone Viral, and thank you for joining me in another video. If you're new here, we like to cover crime and news, give analysis, and also give you information that sometimes the mainstream media won't always tell you. So please like, share, comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, grab yourself a membership for £1.99 and stay up to date with the next up and coming secret projects we have to stop the boats. And with that being said, let's get straight into the video. As the cost of living crisis continues to spiral out of control in the UK, and things seem to be going from bad to worse rather than better, it seems that even women from the UK are now becoming desperate for money that they will turn to supplying and dealing. Join me in this video as we take a look at the UK's real life bad girls. Our first story takes us to Spain, for a woman who is 36 by the name of Clara Wilson. She is an OnlyFans model and was caught trying to smuggle nearly £200,000 worth of Thai weed into Spain. Seeing her name to an ever-growing list of British women who are now becoming mules is raising serious concerns for the government and Home Office. A glitzy and glamorous OnlyFans model who is 36 is allegedly been found trying to smuggle in hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of weed into Spain. She's been charged with offences after 60 vacuum-packed packages of the weed were allegedly discovered in her 2 suitcases at El Prat Airport in Barcelona. She is a mother of 4 from Huthwaite in Nottinghamshire and was held by the Civil Guard on January the 20th after departing Qatar Airways flight from Doha. The unemployed parent of 4 now faces 4 years behind bars and potentially a fine of over £750,000 if she's found guilty. The authorities believe that she flew to the Mediterranean capital from Bangkok with stops in between India and Qatar. This comes amidst a string of British women who have now been arrested for smuggling narcotics to foreign countries just in recent weeks. This is 2 days after Miss Wilson's arrest. She was taken into custody at a prison near Barcelona where she awaits a trial for which yet no date has been set, and raises even more serious questions such as who's looking after the children and how long will they be able to look after them for while she's sitting and waiting a trial. Public prosecutors for the case of Clara Wilson claimed in the documents that the weed was being shipped by Miss Wilson with the intention of selling it to third parties on the black market. They said it had a value of €213,000 or the equivalent to £180,000. An FCDO spokeswoman said, "We are supporting a British woman detained in Spain and are in contact with local authorities." Miss Wilson's arrest is the latest in a string of British female smugglers who have been caught illegally transporting thousands of pounds worth of the stuff into different countries. Bella May Cully, who is 18, sparked a massive international search operation in recent days after she was reported missing while she is believed to be holidaying in Thailand. However, it was later revealed that the team from Billingham, County Durham, had been arrested 4,000 miles away on an offence of narcotics in Georgia. Cully had originally been carrying 30 pounds or 14 kilos of weed into the ex-Soviet nation after she was flagged down during a scanner check. She is now facing 20 years behind bars. Our next story takes us to Germany, Munich, where a mother of 1 who's 21 has also become the latest Brit to be arrested for smuggling after returning from Thailand. Cameron Bradford, who's 21 from Nebworth, Hertfordshire, was detained by customs officers in Munich Airport on April the 21st as she waited to collect her luggage. Cameron is now facing at least 4 months in a German prison while authorities investigate the source of where she got the weed from. Her arrest is the latest in a string of cases where Brits have been detained abroad with connection with smuggling. She reportedly raised eyebrows after changing her flight at the very last minute as she was originally meant to fly to Singapore to London. Her family were also worried and had grave concerns when she failed to return home to her Heathrow-bound flight, filing a missing person report before being alerted to the news she was detained in Germany. The chief prosecutor of the Munich Public Prosecutor's Office said, "We can confirm that we are conducting proceedings in this matter and that the defendant is still in our custody, yet she has yet to be charged or given a trial date yet issued by the prosecution, as the police probe continues. A Foreign Office spokeswoman said, "We are supporting a British woman who is detained in Germany and are in contact with her family and the local authorities." Meanwhile, Charlotte May Lee, who's 21, is facing up to 25 years in jail after allegedly being caught with £1.2 million worth of weed. Which brings our final two cases to two women who are locked up in the UK for also smuggling and dealing. The first out of the two cases is a prison officer who continued to smuggle narcotics into jail even after she had been previously arrested, is now behind bars herself. Chelsea Kemp, who's 32, was sentenced at Aylesbury Crown Court to 8.5 years in prison. Chelsea Kemp from Tor Close, Bletchley, had worked with two men to smuggle in narcotics into HMP Spring Hill, HMP Wood Hill and HMP Earlstoke. She pleaded guilty to misconduct in a public office and conspiring to convey a prohibited article into a prison. Hayden Flavel, 27, and Omar Windross, 26, also pleaded guilty to conspiring to smuggle narcotics into prison. The Regional Organised Crime Unit, also known as ROCU, said the crimes were carried out between September 2018 and June 2022. Kemp, a prison officer at HMP Aylesbury, worked with inmate Windross to arrange the delivery of narcotics and other contraband into HMP Wood Hill. Despite being arrested in 2021, Kemp denied the offence and was released and carried out the offences for yet another year. Kemp also instructed Flavel to carry out throwovers at Buckinghamshire prisons, Wood Hill and Spring Hill, as well as HMP Earlswood in Wiltshire, as she now starts her 8.5-year prison sentence. Our final case brings us to Tony Casey, who was jailed recently at Liverpool Crown Court. A notorious narcotics dealer who gave another woman's identity to police upon her arrest in a bid to evade being sent back to prison for previous convictions. Tony Casey was caught dealing Class A narcotics in Warrington while using an elderly and vulnerable person's address as a base for illicit activities. The 30-year-old was caught for peddling and supplying the narcotics, having been released from custody on licence following a lengthy period of incarceration. However, police uncovered her true identity and charged her with possession with intent to supply. Bearing in mind this is YouTube, we will use the words crack cocaine and heroina and perverting the course of justice. Tony Casey was sentenced yesterday afternoon at Liverpool Crown Court, where she appeared via video link from HMP Prison Drake Hall in Staffordshire after pleading guilty to the charges. Nadine Net prosecuting explained that around 3:20 p.m. on the 3rd of July last year, Casey was seen by police in what appeared to be an exchange of narcotics between two well-known users that the police were aware of. When they searched her place, they found in the living room of the address was large quantities of crack cocaine and heroina worth £270 found on the coffee table. In total, police recovered 14 snap bags and also another value of street worth of £240. Officers also seized £216 and 7p on the arrest of Cassie, who also gave a different name and address and date of birth as her own. But once the police established her true identity, she was sent straight back to court, which is where she remains now until a further hearing. It seems that in the UK these days there's an ever-growing problem with either the justice system or those being persecuted for crimes they've committed. But the state of women being convicted and sent to prison is ever on the increase, and numbers suggest that in another further year that the numbers will be catching up with male inmates, and for the same offences. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think these women should face heavier, stiffer penalties, or do you think they're just mere victims who have been coerced into behaviour that they would otherwise do? If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next video.